How's it going, everyone? We sort of have a full cast, although one of us, if they have any juice at all, it ain't very much and ain't going to be able to talk very much.
Yeah.
So this is they're at least here physically, if not in spirit or in voice. So me and Fern are here, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses, probably a filler-ish show on YouTube.com with your favorite show host, Ara Still.
And Fenorian. And the corpse of Vorcel, who,
Well, technically I'm here.
Technically you're
Technically
here.
I'm here. I have ingested one of these pastilles that they make locally that have an awful lot of stuff in the concoction. They will paralyze most of my throat once they wear off.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
The consequences of using these are pretty steep, but they will allow me to speak if raspily.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you've been stuck with the ick pretty much all week. You've been telling me. And,
Yeah, this is day 7 of the ick, and I have, for the past 3 or 4 of them, I've been unable to speak properly. But the early part of it wasn't too bad. It's just sort of gotten steadily worse, and I hit the bottom end of it sort of middle of yesterday, and things have sort of stabilised. I've spent the last 12 hours sort of just hacking up the residuals of the main part of the illness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, this paused MPP show planning when he got sick. So, you're at least delayed by a week.
Yeah.
Probably
I really
probably
haven't
2
been
weeks.
able to do much of anything. Because I would just get home and I'd be too exhausted to do anything or think about anything. And I've spent most of my free time attempting to sleep and failing miserably.
Yeah, that's not going to be helping things.
So, yeah.
So-
if you want to get involved with the show, you can send us an email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at @noexcuses, or join us on our Discord, which will be linked in the show notes.
It's the
Underneath
now
the show. It can be what it wants.
Yeah.
It's still people. I'm gonna call it Twitter until the rest of the world starts calling it X.
No, the rest of the
Well,
world
the
is still
URL
calling
is
it
still Twitter, isn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, the URL is
Yeah,
still
URL 's still
twitter.com.
Twitter, But it's got X's all over it, but nobody is calling it X. Everyone just keeps calling it Twitter.
Yeah.
It's just Elon
I
Musk
think
wants to put
that's-
X's on everything.
I think that this is actually... I don't know that Elon was playing this particular brand of 4D chess, but I think that that's actually sort of culturally a powerful thing. It's like, oh, well, this site is, the next generation of, what are they calling them now? The alphas? The generation following the Zoomers won't know about Twitter. It will never have been called Twitter in their lifetimes that they know of, except that everybody will call it Twitter. And so you've got sort of a weird cultural phenomenon that comes up around the name X. Like, oh, this is called X, but everybody is calling it Twitter because this, that.
Yeah.
This reminds me of our discussion about the fuzz last week.
Yeah, fuzz.
Yeah, we tried to find the origins of the why people call the police the fuzz. Because I call them the fuzz.
Yeah, but nobody knows what country it comes from or what the original slang term is derived from. I looked up multiple different explanations. When I googled it, every entry on the list of hits had a different explanation that they were confident was the right one.
Yeah,
Interesting.
A whole lot of people sure seem to think they know where it comes from, but we couldn't find a clear answer.
Okay. It's a mystery.
So yes, the current plan is to just do a few rival wings to get Vaul and Fern some tombstones. Since Vaul doesn't have to talk very much, he can just goof off and in the oppressor or die in mid or whatever he feels like.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter in rival wings.
Your confidence is inspiring.
It's rival wings. Basically, it's just two sides bang each other's heads together, and one of them will win eventually.
Yeah, and since
Ooh, that might
since
actually
he's his throat's dying, he can he won't be talking as much, so he won't have to divide his attention as hard.
yeah.
So yeah, That's the shtick done.
So we'll
And-
dive into Rex, shall we?
This is going to be a very filler show because we have those of us that haven't been sick have been busy this week
Yeah.
and have done very, very little in the way of new media to talk about. And it's also been a very slow news week. I have seen the same article advertising Gamer Cup Robin on 3 news sites.
Yeah, well, all of them are trying to fill in that week before TGS, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. We've got some big name releases, so everyone's either gone off, they're playing Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, Armored Core, or they're stuck in the doldrums before the next announcement round.
Yeah. So, y'all got the full Armored Core thing from me last week, so you won't be getting a repeat of that. But it's done now. Got the Platy, S-ranked all the missions, cleaned up the last few I needed, and so we're pretty well wrapped on that discussion. But I guess we will start with Fern's week, and
All right.
we'll just roll from there.
Well, I am going to skip over a big chunk of it, which is I have played a good amount of Starfield, but I'll come back to that next week because I want to finish the main story first. I think I'm like 90% of the way
But
there.
it's actually surprisingly good. The main story for a Bethesda game.
It starts off like in typical Bethesda fashions, like here is a massive contrivance to get your character into the plot. In this case, it's you dig up a MacGuffin, then a guy just turns up and says, "Oh, you have a MacGuffin. Take my ship." And then this whole story kind of goes down the hill from there.
This must be an incredibly winsome MacGuffin.
He's an incredibly strange man, actually. So apparently, he is the sort of character who just does things on impulse all the time. So yeah, it kind of fits when you realize that, but yeah, it's still a bit of a contrivance. But I will say I'm having a blast with it. But I went into the game expecting Fallout 4 in space, and that's exactly what I got. So yeah. A lot of people seem to be enjoying it, but there's also a large crowd out there who got themselves overhyped again. So
Oops.
be aware of
I just
that.
killed myself.
So yeah, we'll come back to that.
About being dead.
We'll come back to that next week.
North or south.
Yeah.
Oh. Whatever side the Merc's on, so south. Although the team never knows to go the right side, so just follow the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoop,
I'll go.
Let's not stay
I'll
up
go
there.
defend-
Bye.
I'll go defend the one poor oppressor that's going the right way. If everybody on both teams knows what they're doing, which is incredibly rare, after mid, the teams will reconverge and try and take control of the lane that the Merc spawns at, because they'll spawn north or south, and you can just look on the map and see the little gray goblin icon. The problem is, nobody, and I mean nobody, on your team, whichever one you are at the time, will understand this.
Yeah. So yeah, Rival Wings can be a bit of a mess, and that's part of what I've actually been doing this week. Is I've been grinding out tomestones. I've made some good progress. I'm actually about halfway through the PvP season, just doing tombstone grinding, so I can go and get that really weird mount.
I mean, the trash rabbit that isn't
Trash
in
rabbit
Blue
that I
Archive.
haven't- Yeah, I haven't actually seen the thing yet, so I don't know how bad it really is.
It's the mechanical trash rabbit instead of the literal trash rabbit.
Right. So yeah. Yeah, it's been good fun. It's like just sit down, turn your brain off, and just mash some Rival Wings.
Once you get a feel for it, you can really just sit here and play without thinking.
Yeah, well, I was doing it with Scholar, and Scholar's gameplay loop is go in, dot, then you hit your spread your cooties button, and then run away. If other people are around, you drop your limit break. That's how you PvP with Scholar. It does get a bit dull after a while, though, admittedly.
Nah, I didn't want to come back up. I wanted to go in the cave.
Right. So What else have I been doing this week? I suppose it's going to be a story time sort of week this week, so I might as well go into it and realize. And yeah, I had a proper Australia moment today, the other day, and yeah, it's the sort of thing that really occurs to you when you're walking down the hall of your house carrying a box that you just filled yourself with one of the world's most venomous snakes, and acting like this is completely normal.
Is it not?
Yeah.
It is here. So yeah, I had an eastern brown snake. Decided he was just gonna. Well, actually, I'm not sure if he decided himself or if the cat brought him in. But yeah, 4 foot long brown snake. He was also incredibly angry.
Are snakes weak versus cats or something? Because cats seem to have their way with them an awful lot of the time.
A lot of the time, yeah. Oh, that's why we're losing. Okay, I see. We've got the people who don't know how to oppress her.
Oh.
So yeah, that was just that, we managed to catch him and put him in a box and take him outside and wait for the animal control people to come and relocate him. And he says, this would not happen in nearly any other country.
When I see a venomous snake, relocation is like the last thing on my mind. It is usually cut its head off with a shovel.
Yeah, but then they're usually not too bad. You take the cat away first and foremost. Whatever's pissing the snake off, you take that away, leave it alone for a while. Then, in a lot of cases, you put down the box and it will just happily crawl into it.
I just got rooted underneath the choo-choo train by a warrior.
Oh, that's rude. So yeah, that was just a little thing. Yeah, didn't do a whole lot else this week, unfortunately. It's been catching up. Last night was the finale of Drunk Cowboys, thankfully. Still got a couple of minor outbursts from them, but that's largely it for the year. I'm so thankful for that.
So you're done with them? No more having to go run and play with Drunk Cowboys?
Still got a couple of minor events, but nothing crazy. So yeah. Anime-wise, I'm always full behind. I have been keeping up with the vending machine anime. I'm not sure why. I really don't know why.
You're a glutton for punishment.
I think so. It's not offensively bad, but it is just kind of...
It's not good, though.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good, it's not bad either. It's just kind of there. I need to catch up on Helk, though, because Helk I'm actually really going to enjoy.
Yeah, it's surprisingly enchanting. Like, it sort of wins you over.
Yeah, you go into it...
It's got kind of a dark underbelly to it as well.
Yeah. I went into it expecting a gag show, and I got a bit of that, but there's a fairly coherent story under it, too. A very strong story, actually, once you get past the dumbness. The only other thing I really did this week is, on a whim, I downloaded a Japanese copy of Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble, because there is a HoloLive crossover event going on at the moment. Yeah!
Oh, okay.
It's Yokai Watch Puny Puny in Japanese. It was out in the West as Wibble Wobble, because it's basically a match 3 game with jelly beans that are very, very fluidly wobbly.
Because Western localizers have no taste.
Yeah. But that was discontinued in 2018, I think it was. But I downloaded it just to see what the HoloLive event was, and it starts you off by giving you... Straight up, it gives you Okayu, who is a double S ranked unit. And then 5 tokens for the gacha, so you can get more ridiculously overpowered HoloLive waifus, and essentially completely invalidates the early game. But yeah, it's not really there for the new players. It's there to, well, it's there to wring money out of people who want HoloLive, really. But Because I don't read too much in the way of Japanese, I can read maybe 5 words. I had to rely on machine translation, and I got a good giggle out of it, insisting on referring to Okayu as Nekamata porridge.
Oh yeah, you get. I remember back when we were playing Pinecone, and I was trying to Google what the heck is going on and what the strats were and what's coming out, because you got to go to all the Japanese websites for that.
Yep.
You'd get some. Yeah, you get like grass and roller and thistle.
Yeah.
And all kinds of weird.
Shizzle was just a sizzle. But I
that's
found
right.
it incredibly hilarious for
Sizzle,
some reason.
Yes. So yeah, that's alright. The machine gets really confused when it starts talking about yokai names. Like a lot of the Western ones, when they manually translated them, they became puns, or they kept them as the original. Like things like Jibanyan was unchanged. But yeah, the machine translations do not like puns. So it tended to.
But it's also the Japanese sort of like system of punning is different to the English system of punning.
It is completely, yeah. But yeah, you'd have a nice block of text, which was it's a bit Englishy, but perfectly understandable. Except whenever it came up with a yokai name, and it just translate the name from like katakana into kanji. Yeah, well, that's helpful. Thank you.
Why would it do that though? I mean,
Katakana
is only used for loan words. It should just Romanize it.
Yeah, it should, and in most cases it did, but not always. Maybe it was just Google Translate having a day. I don't know. So yeah, it's still a fun game. I really enjoyed that game, but I'm kind of sad it got discontinued because it is just goofy. And I do like Yokai Watch still. It's just dumb and cute and dumb and very goofy.
Oh man, if they rerun that event, I'm gonna have to do Beast Tribe Fates a zillion times, ain't I?
For the Witch event.
Speaking of
Yokai event.
FF's Yokai event.
It was a grind. I think it was just go out and grind Fates though.
I wasn't playing at the time, so I missed it.
It's still going strong over in Japan, the old Where did everyone go?
To the wrong lane.
Oh, I'm just gonna...
They're desperate for that gobby juice, huh?
Gobby juice. I'm dead.
Oh, Fern, did you go try and get the garbage juice?
I did try and get the gobby juice.
Why did you try and get the garbage juice?
Because sometimes it's a freebie.
It's still not worth it.
Speaking of cross promotion, did either of you watch Lucy Pie's Nico promotion?
No, I didn't.
I watched a bit of it, and it's like, okay, why is Lucy Pie promoting this game? Oh,
well, if
see.
You're going to,
you should.
If you're going to pick one VTuber to promote that game,
yeah, Lucy's right up there. You could always just skip all sense of subtlety and go straight to Project Melody, though.
She's more of a normie streamer these days, from what I understand.
Yeah, she's nowhere near... I think she has lost a lot of her quote-unquote culture. She
used Thottery to get a name for herself, and then became a normie streamer that just makes lewd comments all the time.
Yeah. Which is fine, but yeah. I tend not to watch a whole lot on the Ninja Sanji side.
I don't know, I haven't actually...
It's such a mixed bag over there.
I avoid it generally because, like, they exist in that space which has been carved out by the generic criticisms that are always made of Japanese idol culture. And, Japanese idol culture, it's not incorrect to say it's repressive, but I think that that's almost strictly a good thing in terms of the actual content that you get as a result. Yeah. Because they have a contractual obligation not to pander to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah. As well as to basically keep their trap shut about anything that's going to drive people away.
Yeah, I can happily watch any given HoloLive VTuber and know that I'm not going to have some left wing propaganda shoved in my face because they can't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
North or south?
South's currently getting its butt run over.
Yeah. That's why I like HoloLive is, they go out of their way in some cases to just stay out of things and just entertain.
Well, they're contractually obligated not to.
Yeah.
This is part of the idol culture. Like, people say, oh, it's really repressive. I was like, you Spurgers, you're so obsessed with your delusions about the idol going to fall in love with you that you don't want them to be tainted by being involved with X, Y, and Z. No, I don't want them to deal in gutter content because I don't want to watch gutter content. It's pretty simple.
We can go anywhere, literally anywhere, to get that sort of content if we want it.
And the thing is, if a professional entertainer is giving you commentary on some kind of political issue, chances are they ain't gonna have the world's best perspective there.
Yeah.
No, you're just going to get the same boilerplate that you would from like your average Hollywood movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just go find your preferred thought on Twitter, and you'll get the same opinion most of the time.
Like, there are political YouTubers that I watch who comment on political matters. Like, I mean, Lotus Eaters is one of them, but I also watch Distributist and Oren McIntyre and a few of the other major ones now and again. If I am interested in watching political content, I'm not really that interested. Mostly, I watch games content and theological content. But there is a time and a place for political content, and it is not in my VTuber stream. I'm sorry.
I'm here to watch a cute rock girl exploit her status as an idol to skip dungeon raider queues.
She is a gremlin.
She is an absolute gremlin. I really like BU. Bibu.
Did she do like savage raids on one of her first streams?
And she straight up more or less straight up said is she applied to HoloLive so she could skip the queues.
That is straight up ballsy. Though.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you're actually gonna get if you go and party finder. Like, sure, there'll be some excellent raiders will exist in the fandom, but you are not guaranteed the creme de la creme.
Yeah, for all you know, you could end up with a group full of trolls.
Or just Sims.
Or Sims.
I'm not sure which would be worse.
But she did alright. They got the boss down, so success. I watched a little slice of her co-op of Baldur's Gate. Oh, okay, that sounds like a disaster.
Yeah, like, she knew what she wanted, and it was all the loot.
Yep. Like, I haven't watched that yet because it's the 4-player co-op, and yeah, you leave all the side party members out and basically go and murder hobo. Really, one way to play it. Of the Advent group, BU's the one I've watched the most of, but I've watched a little bit of Fuamoko as well, and those two are just diabetes.
Yeah, I find the affectation is a little bit tiresome though.
Yeah,
like, yeah, they're playing their characters.
Bijou is definitely a gremlin. It wouldn't matter what character she was playing, she'd still be a gremlin.
Oh yeah, like, I have a great appreciation for anyone who is willing to come out onto their debut stream and put together the world's shittiest PowerPoint presentation.
I think at this point it's a tradition to try and one-up, what's her name? Amane.
What did Amane do?
PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, she also did shitty PowerPoint presentation?
Wait, is it Amane? What's her name? Kanata.
Yeah, Kanata did one.
But, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
I couldn't remember who Amane was because Kanata's other name in my mind is Gorilla.
Yes.
Yeah, her other name is PP Tensei.
Yeah.
For PowerPoint.
Yeah, so we've got PP Pebble now. But yeah, there's.
Why did I call her Amane? Why did that name come to my brain?
I don't know. Probably because we're just talking about diabetes, and Amade is also diabetes.
I don't know.
But
was she the one that lived with Coco?
Kanata, yeah, she did. Kanata lived with Coco.
Yeah, the other two I haven't really watched a whole lot of. So yeah, and we've got a new debut actually happening right now with I think 10 new Japanese talents.
It's too much. I don't have time for that.
But they're not part of the main HoloLive cast. They're kind of their own thing now.
Yeah, which is just one level of complication too far for my tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at a point with HoloLive that they're reaching the point a bunch of idle industries and idle franchises hit where they have gotten so big now that with so many talents that your interest is going to be based on the generation or the era rather than the.
I feel like they're also in sort of a riding the tiger sort of situation, right? Like they had success with a few idols, and then they got more idols, and they had more success, and so they got more idols. But at this point, there probably really isn't any game plan other than expand because we're not sure exactly how this works because this industry is new.
Get more idols.
Yeah, they don't know professionally what the cap on this is and where to stop. But it's not uncommon for like this happened. I'm thinking particularly in Idolmaster, where you talk to somebody about Idolmaster, and they're gonna not so much talk about Idolmaster as a franchise. I just got like enjoy all those stacks of story, and I just got everybody. Holy crap! I killed like 8 people. I dragooned everybody rooted on the stairs. What was I saying?
Because you didn't say anything.
It reminds me of like in Idolmaster, people tell you they like the Cinderella Girls era or the first generation era or stuff like that, and I think HoloLive will eventually wind up doing that, and I think they're just kind of going like, okay, that's fine, that's normal.
Yeah.
When their talent pool expands to a certain point.
So I do appreciate that they are getting a lot more cross-pollination going on, a lot of more crossovers going on between their generations. Like, initially it was like, you had JP on one side of the fence, EN on the other, ID over there. And then China. But, yeah, now they're...
China.
They're mixing and mingling, and China is gone. And they're doing it, like, freely. Like, you don't know who... You can go to one stream and, it's like, you've got someone from Indonesia on one of the Japanese streams just because. Although usually it's Oli because she's freaking everywhere.
If you didn't have special evidence to indicate it, I wouldn't have realised that Reino was even one of the ID streamers.
Yeah?
Because she doesn't speak Indonesian most of the time.
No, she doesn't. But yeah, kind of what makes the Holotori song so interesting. Because hang on, they've just sung one song, but it's in 3 languages all at the same time. What have you done? Yeah, I keep forgetting that Anya exists, but then she just randomly popped up on I think it was Polka's stream. No, not Polka. They're playing clan games with someone anyway. Yeah, it was Polka. So, yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate that. And you're even starting to see a lot more crossover with Stars as well. Although that's...
Well, Stars...
that's a bit of a harder sell.
Well, Stars is just took a big hit with 2 of their major talents going poof.
2 of their big boys. Whatever happened
so
there.
I don't...
We're probably never going to find out what happened there.
Well, Kelly specifically came out and said, no, you're never going to find out what happened there. They're not ever going to reveal that.
Yeah. So, best not speculate.
I mean, speculation can be fun. We're not tied to the industry or those people.
Yeah.
So, but
more the point is...
For us, it's fine. But,
yeah,
we're never going to know for sure.
Yeah. No, more the point is there's this a rather vocal contingent of the fan base that thinks that the girl idols should never be anywhere near Icky Boys.
I can see that point of view.
In some cases,
I almost agree with it.
Well, I mean that's the that's sort of like the traditional idol thing, right? Like it's always been set up that way.
Yeah.
But the logic is usually taken a bit too far. Like I understand both the cynical and the non-cynical purposes of it. Like there's simply no profit in allowing for excessive quantities of drama, and nobody really wants to deal with the reality of scandal in one of the generations, because it's going to tar the entire generation all at once.
Yeah.
There's way too much to lose, because it's like it's one of those things where reality doesn't matter. What it is there an appearance of impropriety taking place?
Even if there is absolutely nothing going on, it's just the appearance.
Because if you are dealing in virtual idols, then you're already dealing in a situation where you're peddling illusions. Like that's your fundamental business is peddling illusions, and as such, you need to respect the fact that what illusion you want to peddle is not necessarily the one that you're going to be operating in, and any sort of perception that arises in your target audience is just as valid as the one that you're attempting to project in terms of your business interests. Mm-hmm. So you've got to make sure that you keep it very carefully groomed, that it's as under control as it can reasonably be without destroying the verisimilitude. But you can't take a big risk like appearance of impropriety. It doesn't need to be very significant in order to harm your business.
But yeah. Anyway, we've gone off into the weeds, but that's really about all I've been doing this week. Is also Starfield, but we'll talk about Starfield next week. Right. Just to throw it out though, it is most definitely Fallout 4 in space.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like there's something wrong with, like, as a general rule, there's something wrong with the way human figures are done in these games. Why do they always look so uncanny?
Look at the lips. You'll never be able to put it past your brain that the lips on every single one of the characters in that video game is freaking giant.
Yeah, why is everyone like Cell Stage 2?
Yeah, the big lips.
There's a reason when I replayed Monster Hunter World, I went out of my way to find the D Neanderthal mod.
Nah.
Like, there are just some people that don't know how to make a pretty human model, or just an acceptable normal human model, and everybody looks like a gorilla.
Yeah, and that's really the thing, is that it's not that they aren't pretty enough. It's that they don't even look human most of the time. They look like a 3D version of a cow arts drawing of a human.
Ew.
Yeah, it's just that is always a huge turnoff for me in Bethesda games, and an aesthetic NPC mod is usually the very first mod I download.
It's usually the very first mod that's put out there as well.
Well, no, the ones that add all of the pieces that might not be completely rendered is usually the first one.
Well, yeah. So yeah, thankfully, as far as Bethesda games go, and I know this is a take, it's been relatively bug-free.
There's been the popular take has been that this is the least buggy major Bethesda release in history.
Yeah, but again, take that with the bucket of salt, because that's not a high bar.
But well, you don't need to take it with a bucket of salt because the bar is so low.
The bar has been buried. But I have run into some fun bugs, which I might as well hit on. The most interesting one is I failed to exit my ship correctly a lot of the time. When you land on a planet or a spaceport or wherever, you can get out of your ship one of two ways. The first is you can get up from your pilot seat, walk to the ship, and get out the ramp. Or you can just hold down the X button, and it will... Well, what it's supposed to do is just put you straight at the bottom of the loading ramp. It did not do that for me. While it would put me at the bottom of the loading ramp, or at least in that relative to the ship, it would also put me 2 kilometers away from said loading ramp. Which is really fun on one certain planet, which is an ocean planet, and the port is just on a fishing platform. Also full of drugs, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, it was like, I'd land the ship, and I'd hold that button and forget about the bug for a moment, and then suddenly be out in the middle of a field somewhere and possibly being chewed on by a monster. That was a fun bug. I've only had it crash once, now I think of it. But that's largely been it. A few weird bugs with the way the planet fields are generated. Because, yeah, it's when you land on a planet, you put down a kind of a pin on the surface, and then that's your landing point, and it generates a section of terrain around it.
That's the second time today I've been run over by the train.
Stop getting run over by the train.
I was mid-leap at somebody when the train came.
So yeah, but yeah, I'm playing through it vanilla at the moment. I'm going to do a finish a play run vanilla first, and then I'm going to start looking at mods. I also need to find a new mod provider, but we'll come back to that next week and see how things pan out. Beyond that, that's my weeks. We kind of tangented it there a bit, but that's all right.
I'll take it. We ain't got a whole lot this week anyway.
Yeah. Vaul, you up to talking about a week, or do you just want to skip it?
Well, I don't really have much of a week to talk about since I was pretty much incapable of doing anything. Like, the only thing that I really did gaming-wise was the grand finale of Arc 1 of Blue Archive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've got enough gas in the tank to properly talk about it.
Yeah, we can. You and me can one by one that one next week, because that was the vast majority of my gaming week as well.
All
So
right.
yeah. All right. I guess what we'll do is we'll just jump into my week, and I'll stretch what I got, and we'll see where we're at after that.
Yep.
Can't advance
So-
with the suppressor. What should I do with it?
This lane's pretty clogged. Sometimes you can hang out in the lane and wait. Sometimes you can go in the other lane instead if it's better. Just to open the map and take a look. Although right now everything's just kind of foobar.
Yeah, I think we've.
Yeah,
we're on the.
I think we've already flubbed this one.
Like last game was close. This one we're just in trouble.
Yes, it happens sometimes. You just get stomped.
I'm toast. There's nowhere to run. They've got like a set of 4 mechs on both the north and the south.
Yeah, they got a full.
Yeah,
setup.
they're about to get the Mark II. We're doing our God-given best here, but our best just probably ain't gonna be enough.
Yeah. Okay, now they've got a full set. Oh, that's a lot of oppressors over there. That's all robots. I'm just gonna go.
Oh, we got the Merc.
You got
Yeah,
the
so this has
Merc,
been a
but-
big part of my week. Because Rival Wings is so easy to do when you're just tired. It really doesn't require any brain work other than just open the map and see what's what. And if a game is foobar, a game is foobar. Like this one, like you're probably not coming back from this without a miracle. So it's no big loss on your head. There's very little personal responsibility unless you're the oppressor that's sitting there shooting players in Rival Wings.
Yeah, just don't be that guy and everything's fine. Brute Justice, go!
So yeah, I've done a lot of this week. You did it one night with us.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of it independently.
Yeah, Abo's wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff that's very brain intensive this week. He's like, oh, we should go do some Delibram Reginae. I'm like, while that's not hard and is perfectly grindable, I just I don't want to have to sit there and try and think about my DPS because one of us is going to have to perform and do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's going to be me playing White Mage DPS. Otherwise, the group's just not going to kill anything very fast.
Yep.
So I just I didn't want to do that. And it's like, oh, we go to Eureka. I'm like, I'm already really tired. Do you really want to put me to sleep? So we took a middle option, which was do Rival Wings and do a little bit of Blue Mage stuff. A very little bit of Blue Mage stuff.
Yeah. And also do really inappropriate things with your new mounts.
Oh yeah, we wrapped up the last few things in the Criterion dungeons that last few routes we hadn't done.
Yeah. So you got the weird lantern mount.
The Slurp mount.
The slurp mount. Yeah, so I logged on yesterday and I kind of, alright, I'll set my character to teleport while I go and grab a drink. Come back, and here's these two with these giant tongues just all over my character. You know, why?
Well, you were kind of AFK outside of my house.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I just came back to my house because that's my default place to go back to. But yeah, this is where we lose.
I thought we should have lost this by now, but we managed to draw it out a bit longer.
Yeah, we did manage to last longer than I thought we would. This was not a 4 to 6 minute, but
yeah. I have 50 tombstones. I should actually use those. Yeah, because it's such a beast of a Moogle Tombstone event, though. There's a lot to get and a lot to grind for.
Yeah, I had already bought a bunch of it with Gil, just padding out collections like the music scrolls and stuff. Because if something's under 200,000 and it's a collectible, there's a good chance I've just straight up bought it. And this was the case with a lot of the stuff you can buy with Gil for this event.
Mm-hmm.
So my grind wasn't nearly as hefty as everybody else's.
Yeah, so I sat down. I did maybe 3 days and got all of the dogs that I didn't have, and it wasn't much. Like maybe an hour or two each day, and it got through it fairly quick.
All right. Oh, I gotta pull this from the queue.
Yep.
Well, Vaul bios.
I'm gonna change to.
So yeah, I've adopted Dragoon in this game mode because while I can perform better execution-wise and in proper player versus player Ninja, I cannot do anywhere close to as well. Once you're done with your action bars, come back to the guild house so I can see your portrait and see when you're done loading out of Rival Wings.
Okay. I'm going to check the tombstones first, see if I want to grab anything on the 50 level now or push through to the hundreds.
Yeah. So while I could
notes.
Yeah. While I could perform better as Ninja if this Rival Wings was an actual, PvP mode instead of a PvEVP mode, Ninja would be better. But the consistent damage offered by Dragoon is just way too good. And Dragoon is just way too good at dealing with mechs. And while it's not as slippery as Ninja and not as tanky as Ninja, in fact, it's the opposite of tanky. It takes more damage while it's sitting on your Skogul charge. It just does so much better at the PvE aspects that you can actually accomplish objectives. Because if you're a ninja, if you try to do the PvE objectives with Ninja, Ninja is currently balanced around the fact that all players have 60,000 HP and you have just enough juice if you blow absolutely everything to kill somebody through a few pops of the heal.
Yep.
That ain't gonna work when the mobs have, millions.
Yeah. Let's
Dragoon, however, can sit there and mash Heaven's Thrust all day long and is still gonna do consistent damage and not have to worry about the fact that Bunshin now has a 15-second duration and a 30-second cooldown. Yeah, they just nerfed Ninja's ability to do any kind of sustain so that they were more shoehorned into the burst niche. Because and what Bunchin did was it gave you 5 charges, and it would give you a little shield, a very little shield, like a super baby shield, like 5% of your max HP, and it would let your next for every time you did any action except for Hansho Ran Ryu or the fireball. So the big shuriken or the fireball, it would double the action, or Doton. It wouldn't double that either. But so you would do 2 hits of it, and the second hit would get a slight potency nerf, but not very much. But it used to be 3-second duration, 3-second cooldown, so you could make sure it was always up and just keep the cooldown rolling. Can't do that anymore. Now it's a 15-second duration with still a 30-second cooldown. So you have to be careful when you pop it and make sure you pop it when you want the charges. And while that's more tactically minded and fits the burst niche better, when you're playing Rival Wings and you can't keep that cooldown rolling, you're in trouble.
Alright.
Because you're just not going to do as much sustain on average. And you're not just going to keep it blown and use it on the PvE stuff, because you're going to have to sit and hold it for when you need it. But Dragoon, Heaven's Thrust all day long. So once you pop back into Shirogane, I'll re-QS.
Yep. So yeah, I might try a bit of Monk. I'm just refreshing myself on what everything actually does.
Monk is, I don't know how well it... If you can kick people off of ledges, it's going to be good. Yeah. I don't know how that's... The problem is you live in Straya, and that's hard enough on a North American connection.
Yeah, or I can just kick things and see what happens. So let me see. Thunderclap is an approach. Riddle of Earth is your tanking stance, essentially. Tank and explode. Enlightenment is kick people off cliff. No. Meteor Dive is kick people off cliffs.
No, Meteor Dive is your ultimate. Enlightenment is kick people off cliffs.
Alright. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, your objective is Monk.
Buddhism works.
Yeah,
you are going to enlighten them by kicking them into your team or off a cliff.
Yes.
That is the main advantage to Monk.
And Rising Phoenix is your... Is that a combo?
You have like an 8-hit long combo, so probably.
Yeah, the one button is High Resonance. No, it's not. Rising Phoenix is just your AoE.
Yeah, if you can pick the button up, no, it's not a combo.
Yeah.
So if you click and drag it and it moves, it's not a combo. But at least for PvP actions. But yeah, I've enjoyed Rival Wings as I'm just exhausted after work time. That's been option 1. So a couple hours of Rival Wings here and there throughout the week. But the other thing that's more substantive and takes more brain work than Rival Wings, but still not super mind-numbing or intensive, was I wanted to try and get 100 spells on Blue Mage.
Ah.
And I wanted to get 100 spells on Blue Mage because if you get 100 spells on Blue Mage, you get an ability from the totems called Mantra Magic. And what Mantra Magic does is it's 50/100 potency. It's 100 potency if you're Ethereal Mimicking DPS. And it is 8 hits of 100 potency. 8 individual hits on one ability. Now, multi-hit abilities on Blue Mage are stupidly busted because you can buff yourself so that your next spell cast gets something that's like 50% bonus potency. That's 8 hits of 150 potency on a single target. That's a lot. And it would make doing any kind of Shadowbanger's fates way easier. Plus, I wanted to get some of the stuff that was more obnoxious to get and was just going to require time, less than effort. Like, I wanted Tsukiyomi's ability, and I wanted a few of the dungeon abilities from Stormblood. Since you're now over level for that, you can quite easily survive some of the mechanics in the trials and raids in Stormblood with Blue Mage abilities. that would otherwise kill you, like stack up markers or random incidental big damage, without having to rely on super hardcore pay attention strategies. So I recruited Abo, and the first one I went to get was Tsukiyomi, because I wanted her Night Bloom ability. Her Night Bloom ability is something like a 400 potency off global cooldown. Doesn't share only shares a cooldown with one other ability, so it's a primal ability. And none of the ones from ARR or Heavensward. So it's another off global big burst of damage that also has an absolutely crazy potency dot on it. Like, I'm not kidding. It's like 600 potency on that dot. When you total it, it's more than that. It's 60 potency for a minute.
Wow, that's kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it shares a counterpart, or it shares a cooldown with a move in the that you get from Swallow's Compass in Stormblood. That is just a flat 600 potency to everything around you in like a 20 ohm radius. So we got that too, because they serve different functions. One is for like fates with stuff that doesn't have a lot of HP, and one is for like, you know, doing dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wanted those abilities because they sounded very handy for specifically fate farming, which is on the to-do list because I do want to get all the stuff from current bicolor gemstones.
Yep.
Eventually. And that's something that I can do over time, but it's something that will be made significantly easier with more tools for Blue Mage.
Yeah, fates otherwise are just a very long, rather dull grind.
So yeah, I wanted those tools, and I wanted a whole bunch of stuff, but those were the two I focused on. What else did I get? Wound up getting... Hang on, I'm trying to fight this oppressor at the same time, and finally my team's here. There he is. Oh, there's the other oppressor. Let's go try and fix this problem.
Try and push up for Merc, which is this way.
Yeah, I'm currently having issues.
There's a big snarl up here up north. Should I lurk or should I leave?
We're about to break through as long as they don't come in with a mech over here. As soon as we drop the suppressor, we should be clear. But yeah, what else did I want? I wanted Genbu's ability, which is a tanking. Well, it's not even just a tanking; it's just a good ability. It does more damage if you're expected to tank, but there we go. That broke us through. But the big thing it does is, how do I describe it? You take 30%. If you take 30% or more damage while you're channeling it, you can't move or turn or do anything with it. It's one of those type of abilities. If you take 30% of your max HP and damage, then it lets you trigger something like a 10 or 1,000 potency mega nuke in super huge AoE. So we got that one too. And none of these dungeons were hard two-man level synced, because this is something that Ibu doesn't really get because he's focused on the collection aspect of this stuff, and I like the fun, more challenging aspect of, you know, playing the Blue Mage kind of like how it was intended, of low manning content.
Yep.
So I wanted to level sync us and get the 100% drop rate, number one, so we don't have to run it as much, and number two, just see how hard the challenge is. So I managed to convince him to do that, and we managed to do it pretty easily. None of it was very hard at all, except for the last boss of the Burn. That stupid Mist Dragon. And the only reason it was hard was because I accidentally turned off my junction to tank.
That was silly.
So he did his tank buster, it would chunk me for 90% of my HP. So we had to come up with, or I had to come up with some fairly creative ways to survive. One of which was increasing my max HP temporarily for 10 seconds with a 1 minute cooldown ability. So I had a little bit more wiggle room, so the dot didn't insta-kill me. But that's the kind of stuff I enjoy with Blue Mage, is solving those kind of weird, quirky problems that can come up when you try that type of content. And got to do quite a bit of that when we were messing with that. So yeah, but still, this we didn't do very much of that. Just a few of the Stormblood ones, and the rest of it was just grinding stuff in Rival Wings or just goofing around in general with. But no, that was pretty much it. Blue Mage and Rival Wings.
Yeah, that's all right.
I like having Vaul on oppressor duty because it means I don't feel as obligated to be the one that makes sure we have an oppressor that at least will shoot the towers. Like, I don't care if he's any good at it or not, as long as he doesn't shoot players with it. I don't care if he gets lost in the lanes. I don't care if he doesn't know where to go. As long as you're not shooting players, we're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of people you see who just don't know what they're doing and try to missile players, it's just... Stop. Please stop.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. I think the tooltip even says that it's like not for players or something, not for targets.
Oh, that quibble kill! Did you see that?
What did you just do?
I did see 20 stacks of soaring.
I just did the same thing I did last time. Some Dark Knight pulled all the dudes into his goop, and then I Dragoon ulted on it.
Nice. So yeah, I think we got a win on this one. Unless something really dumb happens.
Oh, you done said it now.
Why would you do that, Fern?
Yeah,
you can't
I know.
jinx us that way.
Someone's going to do a dumb, but I don't think there's a dumb big enough at this point. But we'll...
Yeah, that's another reason I've switched to Dragoon, because Dark Knight is so popular on this map, because Dark Knights are powerful right now in general on PvP, because people have finally figured out the how busted the stupid Salted Earth pulling you in and rooting you is. But on this map especially, where there's a choo-choo train.
Just root people on the train and watch them get run over.
Yep. And more than that, you can even if the train isn't coming, just rooting them inside the train tracks if it's a melee class, so they can't do anything until they climb out. And it's very obnoxious to hop out of those train tracks. Is good progress. Oh, we win. GG. I wonder how many kills I got with that one Dragoon ult. It was at least 5.
It must have been. And there you go.
I want to see the scoreboard. Yeah, I have 11 kills, and at least 5 of them were from that one ult.
Yeah.
So you can have plays like that in this too, because people clump up so much. So good reason to play Dragoon over Ninja. So yeah, was there anything significant about Blue Mage at all? I finished the storyline for Blue Mage as well. I'm not going to spoil any of it. The hint I gave in the MMO channel will be the only thing that I leave for the Blue Mage, and that Volacel's favorite character from Heavensward makes an appearance, a significant appearance for one of the quests.
Yay! All right. In that case,
but it is very dumb, like all Blue Mage quests.
Yeah, I like Martin. He tries.
Martin. He's very Martin.
He's very Martin.
He's just a little too dumb for... Well, he's not dumb in the conventional low intelligence score way. It's weird to describe Martin's level of dumb.
He's the sort of
Or
dumb
his
that only a
partic-
very intelligent person can actually achieve.
He is somebody that has a lot of aptitude and natural intelligence, and is just foolish in how he uses them.
Yeah. He just tends to make really poor decisions. Particularly where finances are involved.
Yeah. So yeah, Blue Mage story. It's okay. I mean, it's Blue Mage story. The only one I liked was the Ishgard bit. That really stuck out to me. The rest of it was just kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah. I really got to get back onto it, but it takes time just to sit down and go through the Blue Mage Arena quests. A lot of them are very easy at the moment because you can just, freeze and then ultra vibrate a lot of stuff.
Well, they've gone through since I think the first patch of Endwalker and made ultra vibrate affect less crap in there.
Yeah, it doesn't affect as much stuff, and because it's on a cooldown as well, you usually only use it for one wave anyway.
That said, doing it, the challenge you have to do to clear the story for Blue Mage from 71 to 80 requires ultra vibrate and deep freeze.
Ah.
There's a mob that will just cast a one shot during the boss fight that if you don't deep freeze ultra vibrate it, you're dead.
Interesting.
So yeah, and I think is there anything else? Because we really got to stretch the weeks if we're gonna fill time. Although this will probably just wind up being a short show.
I think we're just going to end up with a short show on this one. If you keep trying to draw it out, you're only going to end up with an absolute mess.
Yeah, so I really don't have much. However, I will speak about one of the real life shenanigans from several weeks ago because I meant to send this to Vaul when it happened. But I got distracted by other stuff because he understands how dumb this is because he has to work with customers all the time and order crap from them. So I posted the email chain and live show links with much editing done to hide company names, including my company name and email, in case somebody decides to share the screenshot because they think it's funny or something. I am the blue line, and he is the red line. Read from the bottom up like you would a normal email chain. Now, when you deal in any kind of good, and I mean any kind of good, when you order something, there's a procedure here. There's a procedure for sending a purchase order, and every purchase order has a number assigned to it called a purchase order number. Every single company in the world that I have ever done business with that deals in goods or services, whether they trade them, whether they buy them, or whether they sell them, has a PO number somewhere that their company uses. This guy at this company that has taken over the Atlanta Coca-Cola job had never heard of a purchase order before, or a purchase order number.
Yeah.
This makes me wonder what his previous work experience even was.
Yeah, and it wasn't just him. It was his whole company, because I called him on the phone after this.
What, the rest of the company doesn't know either?
Yeah, nobody at that company knew what a PO number was.
Oh, I just got punted out. That was rude.
So this totally blew my mind.
But why? What did they do? How did they do business?
So this confused the heck out of me, and I got the story later from another company called Purcell Mechanical, which is the company that used to have the deal to work with Coca-Cola and do repairs and stuff for their pumps. Purcell Mechanical got fired because they were too expensive, and Coke found this super cheap company that was offering to do it, and they cost like nothing. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, How did we mow the grain away that hard? That's kind of impressive in a way.
Yeah, everyone left mid, so we just lost it.
Well, I died, and then I went south.
Yeah.
And
You tried to defend me solo and it didn't work.
So, it makes me wonder, actually, what would happen if they get audited? Because, yeesh.
well, they're gonna have a hard time if they don't have any purchase order numbers.
That's kind of how the paper trail works, yes.
So their PO number in my system is like verbal Raymond Dales or whatever his name was.
Right.
Now, this is not the first time I've had to list verbal as a PO number, but it's usually not because the person doesn't know what it is. It's usually because they need the product right now and are not in the office to go get in their system.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
I'm gonna go get a cruise chaser, but the fact that I had to do this for somebody just because they didn't know what a PO number was blows my brain. And I've been dealing with minor work problems like this all week. It's just been minor problem after minor problem driving me up the flipping wall.
Yeah. You get that sometimes. No,
that's not. About it. That's not very interesting to discuss or talk about, but it's just the way it be.
It is how it be. All right. Oh dear. Wait, do we have someone in our team on our raid called Dr. Nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
What's their adventurer plate look like? We can inspect them.
It's got to be something completely degenerate.
That is a big pompadour.
There you go.
Yeah. Heel slut extraordinaire. If you aren't dead, your HP is fine.
This sounds like a completely fine and above board medical practice.
Yeah. Only thing that surprises me is they are not a Rothgar.
Yeah. I don't think you can put a pompadour on a Hrothgar. At least I don't have one. Yeah.
One of the things I like to do in when we're in Rival Wings and just playing to play is I like to sit there and go through the adventure plates of all my teammates.
Yeah.
And you will find some very interesting. We call them characters. Characters seems too generous.
Yeah, but probably most accurate too.
And what I have learned is the player base of this game is very gay.
Very, very thirsty as well.
Yeah, they are very horny and very gay.
The whole player base just needs a bonkin.
I think they need Jesus more than anything, but yeah. Suddenly
Yeah, oh, actually, it is still as bad. When they first put the Adventurer plates out, remember it was all butt shots? The entire thing was butt shots?
Oh, you remember the famous Adventurer plate of the one that was just the guy that had got, like, something to look like his wong?
Yep. Yeah, I do remember that.
And it looked like he was holding it and had a very expected face.
Yeah. They did make some changes that put it put a stop to some of it, but it just made everyone who was really determined to get a lot more creative.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of those. I am not. What's a good way to put this? I was surprised just how gay the raw amount of gay portraits I found was. Not a little gay, super gay.
Right.
And suddenly I understood why Final Fantasy XIV has a rep on Twitter.
A rep on Twitter, so.
Oh yeah, it's like the most. If you see a Final Fantasy 14 avatar, people meme it because it means you're a degenerate.
Ah, that's a nice
Apparently,
from the anime avatars, I suppose.
Yeah, it's oh no. Like anime avatar is nowhere near the same level of rep as a Final Fantasy 14 avatar. It just means you can't keep it in your pants.
D.
And yeah. So
Everybody's suddenly up and abandoned me here.
I had to return to base because we got people chewing on people. Well, I went to go get the Merc, and now I'm back at the base. We got people causing problems. So
How'd that ninja not die?
So yeah. I just don't have
Oh, that's how.
Yeah. I just don't have anything else to talk about if we want to switch over to
Alright, we should push on
a
with
proper topic.
some news.
Right. There ain't a lot.
There ain't a lot. Steering clear of the big topics because we're waiting on the next round of announcements.
Right. So we can start from the top down, I guess. That makes the most sense.
Yep.
So I have not played Baldur's Gate 3. Fern has. So he'll have a bit more insight into it. But I did wonder, as somebody that didn't play, just was this the normal level of everybody's just talking about how horny the game is? Or is this just the way this game is? Is it just exceptionally horn dog? Apparently it was the latter.
Yeah, I mentioned a few weeks ago that the characters come on like super strong, super fast. Turns out that was a bug. They are not meant to get that horny.
Yeah, you're apparently... So the way I assume it works, because remember, I haven't played, is that the characters have some kind of affection or affinity stat that you have to raise.
Yes.
Yeah, in order to in order to get them hot enough to want to take you to bed.
Yeah, it's a sliding bar as to how much they like or hate you. But it's supposed to be that once you're over a certain point, then they will start hitting on you. This seemed to happen at the midpoint, like neutral, 0.
Yeah. So apparently it wasn't supposed to have that happen.
Yeah. Some characters came on worse than others. People keep talking about Gale. I did have one horny moment with Gale, but Lazelle was the strong one for me. Because she's also completely and utterly without subtlety, very, very literal. So she basically just walks up to you and says, I want to get in your pants. No subtlety, no nothing. She just wants in your pants.
That samurai tried to get a quadruple kill. It didn't work for him.
Alright, so yeah, they've fixed that now, so hopefully it won't be quite so aggressive.
Yeah, this is
very aggressive.
This also makes me laugh because a lot of the Twitter commentary around this game was giving it praise because they loved how horn dog all the characters were.
Yeah. There's one character that would make sense because he's just kind of a flirt. But it also means he's trying to screw you in a less literal sense rather than in the literal sense. But yeah, everyone else, not so much.
Yeah, so the fact that it was a bug and the characters were not, in fact, intended to be that eager makes me laugh because it just, that ticked off a lot of Twitterites.
Yeah, and anything that annoys Twitterites is a good thing in my book.
Yeah.
So
That's a bunch of the random map objectives, but we are not making a whole lot of progress on offense.
Yeah, we just had to push a whole bunch of oppressors out of the center.
Yeah, I was there in that fight.
Yeah. So yeah. Right. There's been some interesting bugs for this game. Most of them have been fairly mundane, but Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah, so that was funny. It would be more funny to me if I was engaged in the social media commentary around the game, I think.
Please
But,
don't.
I don't engage with social media to begin with at all.
Yeah.
So,
that way lies madness.
like, social media may as well be a foreign country to me that I occasionally just happen to have a window into.
Yeah. Alright. What else we got? We got the SAG-AFTRA stuff. Still.
Okay. I wanted to make fun of this because this is especially hilarious given the topic I talked about a few weeks ago.
Alright.
So here's the deal with the writer's strike and the stuff in Hollywood. Nobody has cared. Nobody has noticed. None of the circles I follow have been aware of it at all, pretty much. We're going to lose on time.
We are. That's a first.
But they are so desperate for attention that they are now going to the video game industry and going, y'all need to strike too. Never mind that video games have nothing to do with residuals, and so them striking wouldn't make any sense when that's one of your key bullet points on your strike list. They just want more attention. Now, what's hilarious is I'm all for this.
Oh?
Because, as we've seen demonstrated multiple times now, when you get non-union voice actors to come in and do work, they do a better job than the people that are currently at all the companies.
Yeah. Well, they're after the video gamers now, I think, at this point, because the YouTubers have all collectively told them to go and pound sand, too.
Yeah, well, the YouTubers are independents. They're not part of they get no benefits from it.
They get no benefits from it.
But it's just really funny to me, because I was thinking about when I was talking about Shadowverse and the voice acting in that game, and how all the people that didn't have credits in the voice acting and weren't a part of the union all did a significantly better job than your standard industry contract work that is all part of the union. So sure, yeah, go strike. Please, get more talent in here that's better than you. Maybe we won't have Bryce Papenbrook be the protagonist of the next video game.
Yeah.
Who exactly is supposed to be being hurt by these strikes anyway?
Well, no one at this point.
Yeah.
The thing
they have snarled up production for a bunch of Hollywood stuff, but the thing is, the general public doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw a thing saying that, oh, you're not going to get as long as the Screen Actors Guild strike continues, you won't get the second season of She-Hulk.
Oh no!
Is that a threat? Is that a threat or a promise?
That better be a promise. So yeah. But I have been kind of keeping this in the periphery, and there's been a few events that have come out of it. Like there's some stuff that they've been talking about, which, yeah, okay, I can give it to them, like the streaming companies doing dirty with the residuals.
I don't even think that's dirty. I think that's just the way the world's moving. These people already make FU levels of money for their performances. Yeah. They can live without the extra residual money to buy the fifth yacht or whatever. Yeah, They're not that important.
Well, that's the thing, is that the big voices have kind of overshadowed a lot of the little ones, and yeah, it's made it in the usual way that these things go. But
like, if it was all about the people that have to carry the cables around behind the camera as it moves, then I might be a bit more sympathetic.
Yeah, but when the big and the noisy get out there, it's like, oh no, I'm standing in solidarity, and it's the riders from the deck of my yacht. Yeah,
no, it's not even that. The actors are a part of it too, where they're throwing a hissy fit because they're not going to get their residuals every time something airs, because nobody airs crap anymore. That was a lucky, lucrative deal that the actors' unions at the time happened to bumble into.
Yeah,
but it was not intentional. like you couldn't plan an industry that way. That was something that you managed to negotiate by accident due to the times.
Yeah. Thing is with
And
the strike
and now that
is,
times have changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing with the strike is there's been deals put forward to end it. And a lot of those deals actually give the writers pretty much everything they want. Except for the ultra-representative writers' room. So one of the demands is that they want the writers' room to have so many people in it in order to, I don't know, head off AI. But we're already seeing the whole adage of like too many cooks in there already. And it's just not practical.
Well, more to the point, I think, honestly, I think AI can put out something better than whatever the heck the current writers are putting out before too long here.
Well, the thing is, an AI would have to be trained on the corpus of extant work, right? The problem is that nobody calling themselves a writer today has done any reading. So they don't know anything about the corpus of work.
But when you can't,
So all that they know is the current environment of the current people that they know and hang around with every day. That's like the entire body of your average modern writer's knowledge.
yeah, it's more than that actually. In a lot of these movie adaptations nowadays, is the writers and a lot of the actors are expressly forbidden from reading the original source material. So that's why
Well,
we
I'm not even
get
talking about that. I'm talking about ability to write anything in general. Like fundamental capacity to be a writer is non-existent because they have done no reading.
Yeah.
Whereas an AI has no choice but to do reading because you can't train an AI without feeding them the data.
Yes.
The only thing that a modern writer in Hollywood needs is entitlement.
Sadly, yes. Yeah, we're already starting to see people getting sacked and others brought in, but yeah, hopefully this thing's going to be a big clean out and a changing of the guard. Going on for long enough, that's for sure.
I just think the tech has moved on, and people need to. People have warned about this for a long time now. That when AI comes knocking, some jobs are just going to be lost. My job's in danger of AI. Like everybody's that works in any kind of desk work or office work is in danger. If you're not physically moving crap, you can potentially be replaced unless you're really good at your job. We've known this, and learning to adjust to it has been an expected part of what's up and coming. It's just here now, and now the super elites that are being hit by it first are throwing a hissy fit because they're one of the first ones to get hit.
Yeah, because hey, look at that. They're not actually important.
Yeah. I mean, my job is mostly just to build systems and do engineering assistance. An AI can be trained to do that. Like, my job will likely be replaced by AI within, 20 years. That's a long road. Might be sooner than that.
In the case
That's just a reality of the world. I'll have to pivot and find a way to make myself valuable.
Yeah, in your case, you'd be more transitioning from and being less of base design and more to, I guess, proofing, which is a good way to call it.
Well,
going over what the AI generates and actually making sure that, yes, it will actually work.
Well, it'll probably involve a whole lot more field work and showing up on the field and doing on-site stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
I expect that.
But, yeah.
I have prepared for this eventuality. These writers, however, got their cushy jobs and at the Writers Guild and just thought that gravy train would last forever.
Yeah.
Same thing with the actors. They got their cushy pensions and stuff and thought that would last forever.
Yep. It's not the first time this has happened. It's certainly not the last.
So yeah.
Yep.
It's just always funny to see these people wail and scream when the march of time comes for them, especially after they've been the ones telling us, how inevitable progress is and all that nonsense for a while now.
When progress comes knocking for you, you start suddenly all against it.
And they're so... What's a good word for it? They're so dumb at this point that... and so bad at their jobs, I don't care if they never come back.
I don't think it would be any great loss. If the big crop at the moment just gets unanimously chucked down on the curb and they bring in completely fresh blood, I think that would only be a net positive for the industry. especially for some of these people who have been there for 10, 20 years now, like Kathleen Kennedy, and they've been universally awful, yet somehow are still there.
Yeah, it's a problem that's come up in the political sphere a lot, that the generation that has existed before that came about two and a half generations ago, the late boomers just have trouble letting go, and they have entitled the people that are around them into the same mindset. It seems like, oh, that's a lot of cruise chasers.
There's a lot of cruise chasers, yeah.
Like we see this with Mitch McConnell as well. He just won't go. Won't. It's slightly different, but that's what it reminds me of. You're stroking out on camera in real time, but you're going to hold on to what you got, because that's your gravy train. So yeah, it's a mess.
It is a mess.
But I will hopefully get more laughs out of it than I have. I honestly expected more locals to come out of the woodwork on this and provide more entertainment, but they just they haven't. Nobody cares about the SAG-AFTRA people enough for the usual terminally online to make an appearance and really really embarrass themselves.
Yeah, it's been dragging on for too long now, and all the fun's gone.
That's a lot of people that I can't kill. I see Vaul trying over there.
Not doing a very good job.
Yeah, I got wiped before you did. So yeah, I have not been paying attention to this, but if they're going to finally start the shrieking and screeching about how they need X, Y, and Z, I might start paying attention just because that's going to be funny.
Yeah, they've been at that for a while now, but no one's listening because what they're asking for is generally dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah.
Next news article is one I just threw in there because it's probably one we should just quickly announce. In 2 weeks, everyone who has an old school Mojang account is gonna lose it.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
If I don't see myself ever playing Minecraft again, and that's the only product I own on my Mojang account.
It's the only product that exists on Mojang accounts.
Yeah, so I don't think I will be going out of my way to do their account upgrade process or whatever the heck it is. I'll just
gonna let it go.
Just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty well done with Mojang and Minecraft at this point in my life. Like, I had my fun with it multiple times, but I've just kind of moved on.
Yeah, I still poke it up every now and again. So yeah, it's been part of the whole migration process. When Microsoft first took over Mojang, they started this process a few years ago. About a year ago now, they announced that they would be retiring the old Mojang accounts because the old accounts were just on, like, the digital equivalent of a napkin, honestly. It's just a very simplistic system that they threw together just to manage accounts. And yeah, they said a year ago that you'd be losing them and have had the year to migrate them. So there's your deadline.
Yep. So yeah.
That's just that.
Please don't Mega Laser. Please Rocket Fist the tower, Mr. Brute Justice. Please don't try and fire breathe on the tower, Mr. Brute Justice. Please Rocket Punch it.
Or take and reverse the north.
You have managed to get the Brute Justice all the way to the enemy base. Rocket Punch is the correct answer.
Rocket Punch is always the correct answer. Punch the Gabbin.
Yeah, don't get hit by his stuff. A bunch of it's a one-shot.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I think that covers all the newslets we had.
I think so.
There wasn't much.
Next week we'll have probably a bit more to talk about because there's going to be a bunch of announcements.
Yeah, me and Vaul can talk about Blue Archive next week as well, and you can talk about Starfield. We'll have we'll have a full docket if we get to next week's show with a full staff.
Yeah. One thing I did actually notice, my phone reminded me as a pop-up, is the Niantic Monster Hunter game is going to be coming out soon.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Everything they have touched recently has turned to turd.
They had their 1.5 great hits. The big great hit of Pokemon Go and, the kind of the sleeper that was Ingress. Does anyone still play Ingress? I don't know.
I'm sure there are heaps of people that do.
Yeah, I guarantee a game like that has got to have its autists.
Yeah. But then you also have the Damp Squib that is Pikmin Bloom. And there was another one. Wasn't there a Harry Potter one as well? I think that
Maybe.
was Niantic. There was another one that popped up. Which Yeah, that era of game when Pokemon Go really took off, there was a whole bunch of copycats, and none of them really succeeded. Hell, there was one company that was churning out like one a week, and it was the same game with just a different skin on it.
Yeah.
It was like
that happens with every mobile game though. That has a new way to play and hits it off.
Yeah. So yeah, the Monster Hunter one is all about you walk around, you gather materials, you fight the monster, you equip gear, and repeat. So far, it looks like they've just got stuff from World in it, because they've just taken those models.
Yeah, if I still hung out with friends in real life, and if the Coof hadn't destroyed hobby shops so I could still make new friends, this type of game would be something I could consider keeping an eye on. But I don't go out with my friends in the local area very much at all.
Yeah.
Like even Abo is literally like 5 minutes from my house if I don't have any traffic and hit all the green lights. Like and we still never ever go anywhere or do anything in person.
Well, he doesn't come out of the house except to work.
Hey, it's an improvement. I'll take it. He's been doing good at work, apparently. He got Employee of the Month. He's trying to get Employee of the Year for the fat bonus check. And get promoted.
Yeah, so Monster Hunter now, is there a date on it yet? Let's see. For some reason, the Google Shops interface is so appallingly awful. The actual section of the page listing that would tell you about what the actual app is hidden. And the rest of it is just screenshots. So they just want you to look at the screenshots, and that's it.
Did you not click the queue, Fern?
Oh, I did not.
That's okay. If we're wrapping up the show, we pause the rival wings.
We can wrap it up. Oh, no! Hang on. Is there a way to get this thing? Let me see. Is there a way to actually delete an app from the Google Shop? Let's see. Because in the related options that's shown up for me is Diablo Immortal. Is there a way to tell it to never show me this again?
Probably not. If they paid Google money for advertising, the answer is probably no.
Incidentally, it doesn't have a whole lot of 1-star reviews. I think they've been actually going through and cleaning it out.
It has got to be uncomfortable for my girl to hold her tail like this for this long. In this pose.
Maybe. Yeah. It just kind of sticks straight out.
Well, she's got, like, holding it at a slight curve. Like, that's got to take some tail muscle.
Or a more rigid bone structure. So, can't really see what my character's tail's doing because it's just kind of buried at the moment.
My tail is very emphasized on my character, so you always know what it's doing.
Yeah.
It is very long and very blonde.
But not... Well, it's poofy. Got a bit of poofy.
It's got a tail poof.
Gonna have a poof. Alright, let us wrap up then, shall we?
Alrighty. We'll have a more full show next week. Did we check the email? If we
Yeah,
did, we probably... Okay. If there was something in there, we probably would have put it off for next week when Vaul's alive and when we're not doing a blatantly filler show.
Yes.
So, got some tomes. Not a whole lot this week going on, unfortunately. Next week, we've got Blue Archive to talk about. We've got Fern can talk about...
Stairfold.
Yeah. I wanted to call it Star Rim for like 3 seconds in my head. That didn't quite click.
Starfield Cross Rimworld mod. Make it happen, guys.
Yeah.
I want to get my organ harvesting industry going.
Yeah, and we'll have some announcements from the industry next week. So we should have a more normal show, assuming none of us get hit by a train or Fern takes his turn on the Ick Carousel.
Please no.
I mean, we still haven't figured out why we can transfer disease through the internet, delayed by about a week or two. But if pattern holds, you're next.
No. Do not want.
So yeah. Y'all got anything for us to send us out of here?
Nah, let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
We will see you next week with a more proper show. Sayonara. Bye-bye.
Okay.